Good morning, 5th grade. Today our math lesson is on powers of 10 and exponents. Our objective for the day is to evaluate repeated factors in exponent form. Before we get started with that, we're going to learn two new vocabulary words. The first word we're going to talk about is base. A base is a number used as the repeated factor. So when we look right here, we have the 6th power of 10, and 10 is our base number. It's the number we are multiplying. Our next word is exponent, and an exponent is a number that tells how many times the base is used as a factor. So in this case, we already said our base was 10. Our exponent is 6. That's telling us that we're going to multiply our base 6 times. So in this case, we would have 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 because we are multiplying 10 6 times. We're going to go ahead and get into some practice problems. So we are going to write each of these problems in exponent and word form. So our first problem is 10 times 10 times 10. Now to write this in exponent form, we're going to need our base first. And we're going to find our base by seeing which number is being multiplied. So what number are we multiplying? 10. So our base is 10. And now we need to find our exponent, which tells us how many times that number is being multiplied. How many times are we multiplying 10? 3. So in exponent form, this is the 3rd power of 10. Now if you realize I just said the 3rd power of 10, that's how we're going to write it in word form. So let's go ahead and do that. Awesome job, guys. So now let's look at our second one. We're going to write this problem in exponent form. So let's find our base. What number is being multiplied? 10, just like in our first problem. Now, to find our exponent, how many times are we multiplying 10? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what's our exponent going to be? 5. Now, how are we going to write this in word form? Say it for me. That's right, the 5th power of 10. So let's write that. Awesome job, guys. Let's move on to our next problem. So here, we're going to practice writing out what exponents means. So you see, all of these have our base as 10, but we have a different exponent in each one. So this is telling us we're going to multiply 10 how many times? 1. So that's just 10, right? Because we have 10 one time. This one tells us we have 10 multiplied 2 times. So it would be 10 times 10. I'm going to rewrite that over here, guys, that way we can see it. 10 times 10. Okay. 10 to the 3rd, or the 3rd power of 10. How many times are we going to multiply 10? 3 times. So 10 times 10 times 10. The 4th power of 10, 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. The 5th power of 10, how many times are we going to multiply 10? 5, that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just remember, your base tells you the number you're multiplying, and your exponent tells you how many times you're going to multiply that number. So let's practice with multiplication and exponents. We have 7 times the third power of 10. So that's telling us that we have 7 times, how many times are we multiplying by 10? 3 times 10 times 10 times 10. A trick that I think some of y'all have learned is that anytime you multiply by 10, how many zeros do you add to the number you're multiplying by? 1. So if we're multiplying by 10 3 times, how many zeros are we going to add to that base number? 3 zeros. So 7 times the third power of 10, or 7 times 10 times 10 times 10 is going to be 7,000. So instead of writing it out, let's try to just see if we can figure out how we can just come to our answer on this one. So we have 2 times the 6th power of 10. How many zeros are we going to add to our number 2? 6. That's right. So our answer is going to be our 2 with 6 zeros. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Awesome job, guys. If you need to, you can also write that out. 3 times 10 to the second, or 3 times the second power of 10, is going to be 300. 6 times the 9th power of 10, how many zeros is going to be on 6? 9. Our last one, 4 times 10 to the 1. What do you think that's going to be? 40, right? Because all we're doing is 4 times 10, because this tells us how many times we're multiplying by 10, and it's just one time. So all that is 4 times 10. I forgot to erase the line. All right, our last problem is kind of an open-ended problem that we're going to do, and then you'll have a little bit of a practice assignment afterwards. So, how would you write 50,000 using exponents? So we just had a slide that showed us multiplication, right? We had a number times our base raised to an exponent. So if we have the number 50,000 and we need to figure out how to write that using exponents, we're going to first look at this digit. What number did I underline? 5. So we have 5. Okay, we're going to multiply that by our base we've been using, 10. But what is 5 times 10? That's just 50, right? So I'm going to need to add an exponent right here to figure out how I can get from just 50 to 50,000. What do you think my exponent's going to have to be? That's right, 4. Because if I have 5 times 10, I get 50. If I have 5 times 10 times 10, I get 500. 5 times 10 times 10 times 10 gives me 5,000. I added one too many zeros to my 500, guys. I'm so sorry. And then if I have 5 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, I'm going to get 50,000, which is the number we're looking for, right? So I multiplied by 10, 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and that's how I figured out that my exponent needs to be 4. So this is how I would write 50,000 using exponents. Thank you so much, guys. That's all for today's lesson. If you have any questions, you can hit that little mail button in the top right corner of Schoology and let me know. Have a great day.